So how we doing? It's nice to see everybody out tonight. I was going to stay home myself, but I thought, nah, fuck the rapture. So, I don't know how many people you are aware of this, but over in Oxford Street, in the city, there's a hairdresser's over there. And they've opened up in the last 6 months or so, and it's a special kind of hairdressers. The women there, they cut your hair topless. And I mean, I'm 26, I'll be anywhere where there's tits. I don't have to be good tits. So I didn't want to do anything too drastic with my hair, and I thought I'll go there and I'll just get a slight trim, and that'll mean I'll be able to go back every couple of weeks and just get more and more tits, right? Problem with that is I'm a bit addicted, you see. That was me a week ago. So who just spent that whole joke thinking to themselves, what's this dude doing up here in red boxes? I mean, honestly. Well, if I can just be serious for a minute, I'm actually in kidney failure. I don't know how many of you can see my arm there. There's some scarring and some lumps and shit. And I'm on dialysis, and next week's National Kidney Week. And Kidney Health Australia have actually asked that in order to support that, everybody go down to Lowe's and grab themselves a pair of spiffy red underwear, just like I've got. And at some point next week they ask you to wear it on the outside of your pants, but really once you've bought the underwear from Lowe's, who gives a fuck? You've supported the cause. So, if you can just get behind that, they support people that are on dialysis, people that are in kidney failure, that have transplants and all that sort of stuff. It's a really good cause. And so, I'm in kidney failure, and it's no joke. The kidneys really don't work. The kidneys are about as useful as, say, tits are to Ian Thorpe. And the question I get probably most often would be what it is I do when I'm on dialysis, because I used to sit there with needles in my arm for 5 hours at a time, doing pretty much fuck all, which is what I tell people, pretty much fuck all. And a mate of mine, he takes it a bit too far. He says to me, mate, do you ever have a wank? And all I could think to myself was, fucking what? I mean, since when is jizz and open wounds under clinical conditions ever a good fucking idea? Not to mention this thing with dirty, great, big bastard needles hanging out of it. Not exactly an aphrodisiac. Plus, I'm left-handed, so, So I says to him, mate, the short answer to that is no, I don't have a wank when I'm on dialysis. And he says, you mean to tell me they can create a machine that will clean your blood for you, but not something that can help you get off while you're on the bastard? And that got me thinking, what's the test for a fella at least, as to an expensive piece of anything? If a bloke walks in and says to his mates, hey champ, I just bought these jeans for $300. What's the first thing his friends usually say to him? Fuck champ, they suck you off for that much? Personally, if I'm spending $300 on anything, I'm used to coming myself. And so by that rationale, and that rationale alone, dialysis machine isn't really worth shit now, is it? But I am learning me a new skill, because being ambidextrous is a skill, right? So, I like to fuck with people occasionally, especially people that take themselves too seriously. And probably the group that I meet most often that take themselves way too seriously are feminine women. I tend to run into a lot of them for some reason. And it always ends up with that stupid fucking argument from these crazy bitches about why is it that a fella can have sex with 100 women in a month and be a fucking champion. But if a chick has sex with 5 blokes in a year, she's a slut, right? And they asked me this like I invented the fucking idea. And mind you, it's not an idea I necessarily agree with. Slut's an attitude, it's not a number. But I am sick of this argument. And any of the fellas out there, if you see this argument too, feel free to use this, because one day this fell out of my mouth, and I'm fucking glad it did, because I've been using it ever since. I says to her, well, sweetheart, because they like that, the feminists, when you call them sweetheart. They love that shit. I says to her, sweetheart, it's like this. A key that opens many locks is by definition a master key. But a lock that's opened by many keys, well, it's a fuck lock now, isn't it? So I'm single, surprise. And that's alright for now, but nobody wants to be single forever. So for the last fortnight or so, I've been rocking about with a condom on. Because a while back, I got me some pretty good advice, and that was dress for the job you want, not the job you've got. And because of all the health shit, it's hard for me to meet new women sometimes, and so I tend to look at the long-term female friends I've had because they're pretty aware of the health issues, so I don't have to explain anything to them, they're pretty aware who I am, it's just less hassle. But that usually ends with them saying to me, well, you know, sex is going to ruin the relationship, and then I would act like a fucking idiot and say, well, you know, why would we want to fuck that up? Like, really? And then I got to sit there and I got to listen to their fucking relationship failures over and over and fucking over again. The whole time they're going to overlook me. Now, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a bit like going for a job interview. Now, when the fella that's doing the hiring say, well, you're more than qualified for the position. And I do like you a lot as a fella, but I'm not going to hire you. What I am going to do is I'm going to keep your number right here on file so I can call you from time to time and talk about the underqualified fuckwit I did hire. And I'm going to call you up every time he turns up to work late, or he calls in sick, or when he rocks into a work function and gets way too pissed and acts the fool. Guess what? I'll ring you up and I'll tell you all about that. Or when he calls in sick to work and a friend of the company calls us up just to let us know he's not in fact sick, he's in fact out at the pub drinking with his mates, guess what? Another phone call. And we're going to continue that process over and over and fucking over again until we finally decide to give that prick the arse because we figure out he's actually got a casual job on the side. Thanks a lot, guys. That's all I got.